Okay, so I'd been prepping for this interview for a while. I was running a lot of miles this week, so every single time I would be running, I'd be doing my 20 miles, so I'm there for like 3 or 4 hours, and I'm listening to every single piece of content with Ben Francis in.
Before we did read with the investment that caused that, so the investment is the real thing to talk about here, I feel like. But how do you even start?
So it's 4 a.m. and we've got a Ben Francis interview today, which I'm super excited about. But first, I've got to get some miles in because I was training for something which I'll be announcing soon. But yeah, let me take you through my morning and the day with Ben Francis. Let's go.
Certainly, I was much further away.
Looking at you in your mother's hands. That made me feel like another man.
This is the bath.
I promise I'll protect you.
Alexa, set a timer for 5 minutes.
5 minutes, starting now.
So for me, it was building and building and building this kind of excitement to go do this.
Protect you from the suffering. I've been walking in the snow, searching through the night. Little did I know that you would be that light. Like an angel, you fell right out of the sky. We pray to God and thank Him for this blessing every night.
Right, that's the bench session done. Just 100 reps at 100 kilos. And now I'm gonna write some more questions out and just get ready for the shoot. Start packing for the shoot, let's have some coffee.
There's pain and I know it can get cold sometimes, but God gave us to you and He told me to let your light shine.
So when we drive into the industrial estate, first of all, I'm already blown away because I'm like, how is he nestled in this big industrial estate somewhere? And then you pull round the corner and you see the gigantic Gymshark logo. And for me, it is everything that I expect to pull up to one day with Mulligan brothers. We talk about breaking the illusion. We've said this before. I know Ben's story. I know that he wasn't silver spoon born. He wasn't the son of some rich oligarch. Like, that is from Pizza Hut to billion-dollar company. So when I come around that corner, that is pure breaking the illusion, because I'm seeing somebody who's done what I want to do. That was literally, coming around that corner was like that, it's possible. Ben started Gymshark at he's the same age as me, I think, and he started Gymshark the same time, that we were starting our small businesses as well. So Mulligan Brothers had already started.
I had started the channel with William in 2013.
Luke and Will and Dan, or Dan and Will, I can't remember, started Spotting Hearts. And I was starting my own gym as well at the same time.
We was actually inspired by Gymshark. So we was going to the gym about the same time. And basically I think we felt like we had a good brand, Spotting Hearts, and that we could build it into something similar as Gymshark at that time. And we're just quite passionate about the gym. For whatever reason, that didn't really work.
We saw Ben's business blow up in our own local gym in Carlton Forum. Whilst we was working out and in our stringer vests, people were coming in the Gymshark vests, which kind of inspired Spotting Hearts, which, by the way, was Daniel, I think more Daniel than anyone. It was very intertwined with how we started. A few years later, I joined Mulligan Brothers, but when we went to see Ben, the instant thing I'd not thought of before was like a click of the fingers, like to go, oh damn, he started at the same time, we started at the same time. Ben's at $1 billion company with this huge building, and we are at this a lot lower of a level. And it made me think that what is the excuse for that?
I see their vision is quite similar to ours. I think that's why it's had a big impact on us lot, because the stories are really similar. Or at least I think they're really similar. We both inspire change through what we do. You know, we have different ways of doing it, where people will watch one of our videos and, you know, inspire change in their life. And with Gymshark, people sort of, I feel like Gymshark's more of a community than just a clothes brand. So when you're wearing a brand, you are part of the Gymshark community.
We pull up, there's all these cars there, I'm thinking, all these people work for Gymshark. This is his team, this is all the people. Ben walked through these doors, that's the logo that they created, this is the brand that he created. So yeah, for me, it was pure excitement, but also a huge realization moment was that I can achieve this. Although I already believed that I could achieve it, it's like a big hammer in the coffin or whatever. You know, it's a massive moment to go, yeah, it definitely is possible.
I was like, this is kind of mad. I was, you know, setting up our interview with Ben, and there's just no nerves, I don't know. I just felt like it was right.
We've got all this equipment and we're getting it in and we're lugging it upstairs, and I must have been carrying about 9 tripods. It was probably about 9 tripods. I'm trying not to drop them. Lugging all this gear up to the room and then getting in the room, and it was like, wow, this is a nice office. I'm
going to this interview knowing that Ben kind of has something that I want and something that our company can achieve, because they're in the same sort of fields in some ways. We're both, I think, Mulligan Brothers is trying to inspire change, and I think Ben's trying to do the same through the fitness industry. People think he's trying to sell clothes, but I don't think he'd be as successful as he was if he was just trying to sell clothes. So yeah, we are trying to do something, I think we're both trying to do something a little bit different. So when we went to the interview on the day, for me, knowing his story, knowing how far the brand's come, knowing what they're trying to achieve, I knew that it's kind of a path I'm trying to take.
Somebody who starts up a company in their mum's back bedroom or mum's dining room and turns it into a $1.3 billion company with the help of others and bringing the right people in. There's a lot of lessons that I learned from Ben Francis personally.
We're packing up after the interview. I thought it went really well. He said, I've got about 30 minutes, so do you want to have a tour? We left all the equipment there. Jordan took one of the rigs with him to follow Ben through the tour, and yeah, just getting basically a tour by the person that started the whole thing is just crazy.
That's that California snow, in case you didn't know. Yeah.
The most impactful thing was seeing that studio and thinking, like, Yeah, I want some of that.
It's that time of the year we will not frown. Telling all my enemies that they should calm down. Oh, no, I got God with me. Oh, cinnamon, eggnog sipping. Oh, in case you didn't know, this that California snow.
We had just interviewed a guy talking about starting by sewing, asking, you know, his mum to give him a video about how to sew. And then to see, like, literally 7 years later, to see like a guy taking us through like a massive studio where there's machines that are building it in first hand, like right in front of you, and they can literally put in design into the computer and it will design it for them. It's just crazy.
A pure breaking the illusion. Pure breaking the illusion. Like, I can keep talking about breaking the illusion. The problem is some people don't make a connection. So some people will walk into Lidl's and they'll go to the local Lidl's and they'll walk around the shop and go home. And they don't make the connection that somebody's idea, somebody's dreams created Lidl's. Somebody's dreams created Tesco. And there's no connection there. The thing is with Gymshark is I think people can make the association. Ben's a young 20-something-year-old guy who's similar age to these people who are wanting to start these businesses.
Ben just seemed like a guy you would know, you might have gone to school with.
I think on a global scale of audience, he's probably the one people will resonate more with. Because he seems so normal, and what he's doing at the moment is in everyone's faces. Everyone knows of Gymshark, everyone knows of Ben. People who go on YouTube are aware of what he does.
All those days he was delivering parcels and he's probably feeling tired after delivering pizzas and stuff. And then he's doing that and he's built all of that and he's built this empire through that. It just broke the illusion.
Sunshine and snow and it's falling like whoa, whoa, whoa. California in my soul. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
So I would say this, before we met Ben Francis, we were all going ham. We was all working as hard as possible. We was all trying to get it. We was all getting the work in. We all had the vision that we was going to have a dream studio. But if I'm being honest, the steps that needed to happen in between were not put in place. So we speak to Ben after the interview, and Ben talks about some of the apps he's using, some of the way his business is set up. And there's so many decent systems in place. It's so meticulous, like the way in which things happen. We don't have that. It's okay working as hard as you possibly can when you're trying to get your business off the ground. But once your business is off the ground, there is a point where you need to change. Like, you still need to go ham every day, but you need to change that business so the systems can be expanded. If you haven't got the systems in place right now to reach the dream studio, you're not going to reach the dream studio. So it just clicked in my head, and we came back here and I was like, we need to fucking make change right now. We are nowhere near where we think we are in terms of progress towards getting a dream studio. So I wrote like probably about 50 different systems. And we wrote these 50 systems in place, and it's probably well overkill. And I wrote all these systems in place, and maybe we're using 4 of them right now. But we're using systems for once, which is not. And then we went Ben's whole ethos is about brand image and like how people perceive Gymshark. And obviously they're selling clothes, but at Mulligan Brothers, that's super important. How do people perceive Mulligan Brothers? So people think we're an inspirational brand, but when they come to our studio and it's a building site, no one thinks that. Everyone thinks that, oh, they're a work in progress. And unfortunately, we still are right now. But if you go downstairs, the whole front room's done now. We've got enough desks now that we can hire the staff that we said we was going to hire. So we've already bought the foundation to be able to expand massively. We just never actually actioned it. So now we are hiring as fast as we can. We're trying to get editors. I brought one of my, someone who used to work at my gym, very, very amazing workers come through, and she's now working for us as like our manager and PA. And it's like, that's freeing me up to make creative roles. And all of these things have happened so fast, but they needed to happen. So I think the biggest thing is it just made us understand that we actually haven't got as much time as we think we have. And if we want to get where Ben's got, we need to move a lot faster. So for me, if I'm going to hire a PA or an assistant or a manager, why am I waiting 2 years to do so? Like, we put off this decision because it's a financial risk or whatever. But if the goal is to get further ahead and the goal is to reach the dream studio, I need her now. If I need editors, why am I waiting until we're earning a little bit more finances so we can condone owning an editor when we can afford to get them now and it'll make us faster right now? You need them now.
When he's talking about the stages of entrepreneurship, it just made me realise that I'm still in that first stage where I'm trying to, I think I know best, I'm trying to do this, trying to do that, I'm trying to do everything. Probably being quite arrogant, but he's saying, like, if you want to develop onto that next stage, you need to admit that there's people better than you. You need to accept new people in and let them run with their ideas. And yeah, I've took that advice really well, and it's going amazing.
We had realised that to have the vision that we want to achieve, we can't do it alone. And a way that I feel like Gymshark has been able to do it is they have a vision and then they get the right people in to help that vision. And for so long, we didn't do that. We thought like we could do this all ourselves, you know, like, not all ourselves, we had people in, but we could have a small team that does it, and to get where we want to, that it's just not gonna happen. So what we learned is we switched everything up, and we realized that if we want to achieve what we want to achieve, we need to get the right people in.
When we get the dream studio, there will be big thanks to Ben. I'm not even kidding. I'm not just saying that, like, he probably will never see this because the vlog channel is so small at the moment, but there will be a massive thank you to Ben, because without that, I don't know how we would have pieced the puzzles to get there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if we genuinely would have. We had the grit, the determination, but at some point it requires more than that, and I just don't think we would have had it. So there'll be a massive thank you to him. Going to see Gymshark and meet Ben and everything, that's exposure to us. Like, we are being exposed to something that is possible. So you need a sense of belief that you can achieve anything you want to do, but then you need to be exposed to it, because if you've got a sense of belief that you can achieve something and your exposure is somebody running a cob shop, which is it's a fantastic business for someone to run, or somebody running a car sales, that's going to be your limit. That's what you've been exposed to. That's what you think is achievable. So you've got to believe, you can believe, and then you've got the exposure that you can run a car garage. That's kind of your roof right there. But if you've got the belief and your exposure is Gymshark, $1 billion company, or Tesla, like, you've gone and done a tour of the Tesla factory and it's ingrained in your brain, like genuinely drilled into your head and your thought process, and you make that connection that someone's done this, your exposure's up here, and if you believe you can have it, you can get up there 100%. When Ben said that he watched our videos and that's why he wanted to do the interview, that's nuts. That is kind of crazy. One thing I would say 100% is that I do not pretend to put myself on Ben's level. Like, the success that Ben has achieved is like on a global scale. We are quite a few years behind him right now. We have got some catching up to do if we want to catch up with that. But yeah, it's kind of nuts that at one point he was watching our videos. At one point was at a very similar level where we was like doing all our labouring work and struggling to get Mulligan off the ground, and he was doing Pizza Hut and doing food deliveries and sewing clothes in his mum's bedrooms or whatever it was. Like, yeah, that's nuts, man. To say those on the same playing field and to say that sort of the paths we're crossing somewhat is kind of nuts.
I've always understood that motivation is important, and I think people don't see it how we see it. Or no, a lot of people see it, but I see a lot of people say, oh, motivation is rubbish. And I think we use motivation as a broad term for what we do, where a lot of what we do is like advice giving or sharing stories. So it's not all motivation. Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules has impacted Ben's life massively. I mean, Ben says he loves Jordan Peterson, it's inspired him so much. And I feel like what we're doing with going to see Inky, going to Bionic Body, going to the Stoltmans, going to Have4, is we're getting their sort of 12 rules, like an equivalent of their 12 rules, and we're sharing that with the world. People resonate with different people, people will resonate with different people, so people might prefer Ollie's message because they've grew up similar to Ollie, or they're thinking of joining the military. People might resonate with Inky because they're from a similar background. I think getting validation from someone's actual in-person talk to you, because we never actually meet the people we're inspiring for our videos. So when we meet someone and they say, oh yeah, your videos inspired me, it's a lot more, they go, oh wow, it's an actual person being inspired. You don't know how much like something's had an impact on him, but just to think that there's a potential that when he thought of his genius idea, he was watching one of my videos, and you know, what would happen without Mulligan Brothers? You just don't know.